Good evening, Sooner Nation. It is a Thursday night in Oklahoma, and tomorrow we are officially 3 Fridays from the first game, OU versus Temple, August 30th. It's a little cooler here tonight, Jay. A little cool front coming in, only in the 70s, upper 70s. Appreciate everyone being on here already. Monty, congrats for being the first Surgeaholic up on the comments tonight. Hope everything's going well in Tennessee. A lot of the usual suspects out here. Suspects? Did I say suspects? Yeah, y'all aren't suspects, but viewers. Yeah, big news. Former Sooner Eric Gray, 2 TD night tonight. Had his little juke and jive, and I guess I'm wrong, Jay. Eric Gray can take it to the house because I never thought he could.
He did. He took it to the house twice. Happy for him. Without the Giants don't have Barkley anymore, it's kind of open maybe for Gray to get some good time, I think. What's up,
7:30
Johnny?
out in 7:30 out in California. Johnny joining us. Appreciate it. John, Topher, everyone. Thanks for being on here, Jay. We mentioned Eric Gray. I think this is a good place to start because a lot of people talking about the running back room, specifically a guy who is making a significant impression, and it's Javonte Barnes. Are we going to see the Javonte Barnes from his freshman year? It sure as heck sounds like it.
Yeah, I don't. I gotta believe it to see it, and I said that for the last 3 weeks on
You've got
everything
to
because
believe it to see it.
I gotta see it to believe it, Jeremy. And when you're coming off injury, I there's no doubt. I think Javonte Barnes could be a really good running back. I just and if he's fully healthy, that's the thing. If he's fully healthy, but here's the thing though. I think Caleb Hicks is really dang good. So uh yeah, and Chuck's right. Last year was Sawchuck Barnes, Sawchuck Barnes, Sawchuck Barnes. Was it not?
Barnes was injured, Jay.
I know. I'm just saying, do you not
Hey,
think
listen.
Sawchuck's a clear RB1, is he not?
Yeah, I think he's the clear RB1, but it is a dominant duo that they can have if everything that people are saying is accurate and he's fully healthy, because he was a different type of runner than a Gavin Sawchuk. He's a physical bruiser in some ways. I think he could get better on some cuts, but he was good. Lori, I think we were a minute late. My apologies for us being a minute late. Sorry, we were kind of working some things out as far as trivia and some other things. Thanks everyone for being
Hey,
on here. Gray
hey,
God Gray God thinks that the throwbacks are terrible.
hey, real quick, Lori, I had me a nothing bundt cake a couple days ago. That lemon bundt cake, can't beat it, Lori. Hey, uh, Germ, the throwbacks are great to me. I love a throwback uniform. You're keeping tradition that way. OU is a team that doesn't need to wear any alternate uniforms ever. But if they are going to wear one, wearing one from history, I think is great. I would prefer the throwbacks any day over the Unity uniforms. I hate the Unity alternates. Hate them.
I agree, Jay. Alternates are different than throwbacks, in my opinion, and
I
throwbacks
agree.
throwbacks keep with the tradition. The only thing I kind of dislike about the throwbacks is there's no OU emblem on the helmet. That's just me personally. The colors and all that, great. I like the stripe. I want to say what Dalpo said, and I'm right with you, Dalpo. We are both Barnes fans when it wasn't cool to be a Barnes fan. And I tell you what, last year when he came in that game and had that horrific play, that was not his issue. I don't know why he was even thrown out there.
Scott, a lot of people think the throwbacks look like Nebraska off first glance when you look at them. But I mean, OU's a team, and Tennessee, Scott, maybe one of these teams. There are certain teams that never need to wear an alternate uniform, and I think OU's one of them. They don't need to. Their traditional uniforms are great.
And, and Chuck, I'm going to disagree a little here, Chuck. So don't get too upset here. But Gavin Sawchuk wasn't given the chance early on.
He was
For
coming
what?
off injury too, though.
For one, he was coming off injury, so you can't really judge the first half of the season. I'm going to judge what I saw at the end of the season in the last 5 or 6 games where he was unbelievable. Javonte Barnes wasn't right all year. So that's not you can't judge Javonte Barnes based on last year. All I'm saying is what we were hearing about Javonte Barnes is all great, like very impressive. If you saw, I know Sooner Scoop talked about it, how impressed the coaches are with Javonte Barnes. He seems to be healthy, but I agree. I want to see it. And Michael says that he trusts DeMarco on who he chooses to play. Look, I'm going to say something, Jay, and you tell me if I'm wrong.
Yes, you're wrong.
Here we go again.
You did that last night.
I know. I got to
You're
get
wrong.
out of that. But
yeah, get out of that habit.
I agree that Chuck, I agree that the coaches have to put out there who's ready. But there were some issues last year with what DeMarco decided to do. Now, I love DeMarco Murray. He's been great recruiter. I think he's a great coach with very, very, very high expectations. I am going to be one who questions what DeMarco did last year. Who wants to get on board with me? Come on. I'm going to question a little bit last year because part of it was the injury thing, though. But it was weird last year, Jay.
The tall Wee stuff?
Yes, and just you didn't know who was going to be back there. There was no consistency. Maybe he was trying to figure out who the guy was. I don't know, man.
I mean, there was some weird thing. I mean, go back to what game was it where they put Barnes in and hadn't played very much at all and he fumbled it? Was that OSU or Kansas?
One of those, and we gave them the ball. It was ridiculous.
It was a weird spot for him to go in. I agree with that.
It was strange, Jay. Very strange. Gary wants the no face masks, and he'd be all in. Jay, Morton Anderson. Every time I see someone with no face mask, I think of Morton Anderson or Gary Anderson.
Yeah, Chuck, and I see a lot of people, and I heard a lot about this, about the tall Wee thing being a practice thing. And yeah, I mean, you got to figure out how to handle it, right? If it's a practice thing, I mean,
no, I'll tell you what you got to figure out. What you got to figure out, Jay, is if it was a practice thing or it was a discipline thing, to me, these guys are getting paid now. Like, there's got to be some accountability. I don't want to throw people under the bus. I'm not that type of coach, and I wouldn't.
They had accountability.
What?
That's why he didn't play.
It was never said that, Jay. It was for the fans. It was an entire guessing game.
So you think Talley wasn't playing because they didn't think he was as good as the other guys?
No, he wasn't playing because there was an issue that happened, I think. But there's got to be accountability.
So they held him accountable.
I'm not talking about holding him accountable.
I'm
talking about saying what it is. You don't have to be specific.
Yeah. Gary, I'm with you on that hot take. I'm picking Wisconsin to beat Bama as well.
I'm very high on Wisconsin.
I agree, Chuck. Walker should have played more. You can argue he was the best back last year. You could argue that.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know about that, Sooner fan. That whole thing's weird. Right after he got third, it kind of came out that he had COVID. I don't know. I really don't.
Lori, I'm confused on your question when you say, is this a joke? Is Bama and OU thinking about changing quarterbacks? No, it's not. It's absolutely a joke. What? No, Milroe and Jackson Arnold are the two quarterbacks. And Dalpois, I'm going to say it again, loved DeMarco Murray. In fact, when he played at OU, Jay and I used to argue all the time because I thought I still think DeMarco Murray is one of the greatest of all time running backs. So underrated in some ways, so many ways. He was a guy who looked like he wasn't moving and he was flying by people. He could catch the ball out of the backfield. My only issue has been it seems like they're trying to figure things out too late in the season. It's the same issue I had with Bill Beatenbow. It's the same issue. So Lori, it's fake. It's wrong. It's absolute insanity to think that. People put all kinds of things out there that you can click. Chester has Murray 5th all time. Yeah, if you had to rank OU's running backs top 5 of all time, starting at 5, working your way to 1, who would you have?
Yeah, hey, real quick, I want to address this from I lost it. Yeah, from Gray God. The quote got misinterpreted, and Jeremy Poplin came out and said that, I think, when he reported on Twitter. What was reported was not really what Kevin Wilson said. He did not say that they don't lift weights there. He said it's not like he comes from a school that doesn't lift weights. So it's
Yeah,
totally different than them not lifting weights.
it's the complete opposite.
Yes, correct.
Chester has Joe Washington, Billy Vessels, Billy Sims, AD, and Murray. Now, I don't have Joe Washington that high. If I was going to rank them, and people are going to be shocked, if I was just going to rank them on what I think is the top, I think Marcus Dupree, I'm with Scott. I think Marcus Dupree has to be in the top 5. I would probably go Sims, Dupree, AD, Vessels, and Murray. That's probably what I would do.
Hey, has the Gibson injury been announced at all?
I have not seen anything official, Jim.
Hey, we did not talk about this yet, but what about SEC looking to have an injury report out by game weekly?
Thank you.
Do you think that'll pass?
I don't know if it will because of HIPAA, Jay.
They're looking at trying to do it this year, like it would start this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the legalities of everything, but Jay, it needs to happen. And again, it's the same thing I just said earlier with Tolly Walker. There has to be accountability. These guys are getting paid. The fans want to know some things. It's not like you have to reveal everything, but come on. People are paying high dollar for tickets. I'd like to know who's going to be in the games.
Yeah, and this argument, guys, if you're in the Discord, we talked about it, different things all night tonight about different eras. But it is very hard to compare eras of any sport, I think. Football, basketball, baseball, all of it. It's difficult. So, and I do think, and this is I don't know if people would agree with this, but I think you would. Whoever you watch with your own eyes, you automatically put them above people that you never watched live.
There's a bias, Jay. There's a bias.
There's a bias if you watch him. Like I watched Adrian Peterson live. Okay. I have a different opinion. I never watched Billy Vessels live and on TV when he was playing. So I do think there is that with every sport. If you watched him in your era, you automatically have a different opinion a little bit.
Yeah. And Jay, someone asked me a question. Where would I rank P. Ryan, Chad Gamble, who is a Sooner Surge Unlimited member? Chad, I don't know. Are you on the Discord? That'd be great. If you're not on the Discord, reach out to us at ousportsroundup@gmail.com, and we'll make sure you get on there. But, Jay, P. Ryan is top 10. I don't have him top 7. I'm going to tell you a guy I have over P. Ryan. I got Rodney Anderson over P. Ryan.
What, do you not think AD could be the number 1?
No.
Why? Why?
I think the biggest reason I don't have AD top 1, ranked at the very top. I mean, watching him, absolutely.
Put him in the wishbone, though. Put him in the wishbone. What if he was in wishbone?
You can't do what ifs, because another guy, Jay, that people haven't mentioned is Joe Mixon, and I got Joe Mixon in my top 10. I got Joe Mixon ahead of P. Ryan.
Traps mentioning Pruitt, Greg Pruitt. That's another good name.
Greg Pruitt was phenomenal, dude.
Yeah.
And
that's,
again,
eye test. I'm talking eye test.
Yeah, and if we're talking eye test, guys, like there's some guys that some people mention I don't think passed the eye test. And then there's other guys who passed the numbers test that some guys wouldn't, like Rodney Anderson, for example. Rodney Anderson, number-wise, won't be with some of those others. But when you watch him on the field with his balance and some of the things, you went like, wow, like I can't believe he scored on that play, or can't believe he was able to stay up. I mean, he's going to be up there.
Hey, there's been a couple put Damon Parker in there. Damon Parker was lightning quick. He was unbelievable player. I just can't put him in the top 10. Another guy that was unbelievable, I think, was Mike Gaddis. Mike
Mike
Gaddis
Gaddis was great.
but it's hard to come up with that top 10 list.
And AO Radio and some others said, and welcome to the Sooner Surge. We're on here every night at 9:30. If this is your first time on this station, every night at 9:30. We don't take breaks unless we just have something come up. I absolutely agree about Mike Gaddis. I absolutely also agree with the one who said, who was the name you just mentioned, Jay? We were just talking. Oh, Damon Parker. Damon Parker had a scene. He was gone. He was one of those guys you would want to go watch because you knew every single time he touched the ball was a chance of him scoring. You can't say that about Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine was not a guy that – and Eric Gray was another one. When he touched the ball, you weren't thinking touchdown. Every time Damon Parker and Adrian Peterson touched the ball, you thought he was gone. That's just the way it was.
Yeah, and I mean, you go back to today, Gaddis, and I mean, you had Gaddis, but it's different when you have Wishbone and you have guys like Lydell Carr in the backfield with you. It's a totally different game than a one-back set in different things. So it's hard to compare them.
Oh, Jay, the spread that is today, the blocking schemes that are today were not back then. And
but
Quentin
if you
Griffin,
gave me,
of course, Quentin Griffin was great. They win the national championship with him there, but he can't be a top 10 running back at OU, in my opinion. Can't be.
I agree. But if there was one running back that you had to start your team with out of Oklahoma history, who would it be? One running back. Doesn't matter the offense. What running back?
But it's Jay, hard, it does matter.
It's hard for me not, Jeremy. It's hard for me not to pick Adrian Peterson.
I agree. Adrian Peterson is the guy. When I just go back what I watched, he was the guy that was the most fun to watch. Now, here's my only question, though, Jay. I liked what Trap House said about the boxes more loaded back in the 70s and 80s. You had the wishbone. Everyone was up front. You barely threw the ball. But I will say this. The only thing about AD, and I'm probably going to get ripped right now. To me, Joe Mixon, you got to think about this, guys. Joe Mixon was splitting time with Samaje Perine.
He wasn't. Jeremy, listen to me real quick. All you have to do is go look at their NFL careers.
Joe Mixon has been really good in the NFL.
Yeah, but not Adrian Peterson like.
No, he's not. He's not. But Jay, can I finish what I was saying?
Yeah.
If I'm going to start a team, and I think it does depend on the offense, because if there's throwing to the back, I think Joe Mixon was unbelievable out of the backfield catching the ball, not even close to Adrian Peterson. He beat Adrian Peterson in that. Would you agree?
He was a great out of the backfield catching the ball, yes.
The more I talk about Joe Mixon, the more I think he probably is a top 5 running back as far as eye test, as far as everything coming out of the backfield. He was unfreaking believable.
Yeah, he was great. I think he was a great guy. I mean, I think Nixon's top 10. I can't put him top 5.
I can go with that, Jay. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter what sports you're arguing. This is always going to be the way it is, and it's fine. Everyone has their opinions. Kennedy Brooks, I don't think sniffs the top 10, but I think he's 11 or 12.
Hey, let's get to trivia tonight. Sponsored by the Fan Stop, www.thefanstop.com. Check them out. Officially licensed gear. If you're a Tennessee fan, they got it. Officially licensed. Go check them out. You can sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. Of course, they got OU gear all over the place. It's great stuff. Sign up. Use code SURGE. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months. And by the way, they're also giving us the giveaway for the OU Houston tickets that, by the way, they'll be wearing the throwbacks. So
what a game to go to.
You want to win these tickets because they're great seats. You'll get to watch OU in their throwbacks. And, oh, by the way, while we're at it, here's the trivia question. OU wore the throwbacks another time. Back in, I believe, 2003. Teddy Lehman and them. But here's the question. That was the start of what streak at Oklahoma? A little trick question. Start of what streak at Oklahoma? Yes, it was North Texas. It was North
hopefully
Texas.
there's not a hopefully there's not a commercial.
They played North Texas. That's correct. But what was the start of what streak? There's something specific we're looking for.
Chester says home win streak. No.
Nope, not it.
Yeah,
Definitely not the 47 game.
I wish Peterson could have won a championship too. That's the one thing missing from his.
This is going to be a tough question.
Someone's going to get it pretty soon. Josh.
Should we give it to Josh?
I think you got to give it to Josh Crenshaw.
It has to do with that. I mean, I think Hunter. Okay,
give it to Josh.
If you remember right, they had the renovation, so this was the first time I believe over 80,000 people was in the stadium. So good job, Josh. You get it. Consecutive sellouts, over 80,000 people in the stadium, and maybe you'll be the lucky winner with the OU Houston tickets, Josh. We'll see. You get your name in there tonight in the wheel of spin that will happen August 15th.
And we're about 8 days away from spinning that wheel live at 9:30 to see who wins the tickets. It will be a great game to go to, as will any OU home game. Jay, someone earlier mentioned Mixon was a legit 5-star. I think that, and he was. He just looked different. Dan Cody, I read an article today, Jay. Dan Cody from Ada spoke to the team before fall practice, and he had some interesting things to say. Have you read that article, Jay?
I didn't get a chance to read it yet, no.
First off, Dan Cody could put pads on right now and look as good as any D end at OU right now. I'm just going to say that. Dan Cody, Jay, a guy that came in at tight end, I believe, moved to edge. But Dan Cody talked about in 2000 to 2004 when he played at OU that their depth was so good. They had 4 guys one year on edge that totaled 30 sacks. Think about that. 4 guys totaling 30 sacks. He thinks this group can do it. He liked what he saw. Now, again, you can say, well, that's just a former OU player talking it up. He just liked what he saw with the guys as far as camaraderie, as far as culture, and then as far as confidence. So, and he gave a great message to the team about what makes great teams and what separates those. But I thought it was a cool article. If you find that, check it out. I think it was, I can't remember exactly the site that was on, but Dan Cody could suit up right now.
Yeah, he was a great player. Great player. And 5.0 King, thanks for joining. It's a great comment because I think it's one of the biggest tragedies in Oklahoma football. The fact that he never got a Heisman. And with his injury and stuff, I get it. But
what do you think of what, and I agree, I've seen the 30-30 ESPN. Marcus Dupree, arguably, you could argue Marcus Dupree was the greatest of all time, and you wouldn't be, I don't think you could be proven wrong. It was unbelievable. Jay, Mark is saying that OU softball is getting a big-time transfer in a couple days.
Well, going off what Mark did a few weeks ago, I think the name he threw out there a few weeks ago, but
yes, I do.
That would be crazy.
I'm gonna have to reach out to someone just to maybe see.
Yeah, Jay. I think we need to and kind of see what's going on there. But hey, I wouldn't put anything past Patty Gasso. Nothing would surprise me.
Absolutely not. Josh has a very interesting take here on a Thursday night at 9:50 or whatever it is.
He's not the only one. I've heard other people say this.
His hot take is the defensive end is the weakest part of our defense this year. Ton of potential, just typically underwhelms. I do think that the secondary is unbelievable. I think the linebackers are really good. The D-line, it's really between those two areas. I tell you one that I think, Jay, is I've got you talked about you got to see it from Barnes. I got to see it from R. Mason Thomas. Like, come on. I've got to see it from R. Mason Thomas.
I agree. And
every single year we hear this.
And Mark's, the thing real quick I want to address, I'm not sure how that worked because of the portal being closed. I guess maybe a graduate transfer?
Has to be, Jay.
Correct.
Ron doesn't start Kennedy, but has seen start rumors, but Kennedy has been seen in the Oklahoma City airport. That's definitely a rumor. And Sooner fans.
And Hunter said that grad transfers have the same rule now as well. So,
well, Mark's saying walk on. And by the way, with the way the NIL stuff is, you could easily walk on depending. And it's a crazy deal, Mark says. I need to talk to Mark because I'm very intrigued, Jay, because I know we talked to a couple people about an option. I'm curious if it's the same one. I may have to reach out to Mark, or Mark reach out to us. Listen, someone said this, Jay, and I got to go back to it because Sooner fan says if PJ Adebawore does not start week 1, first off, he's not, I don't think. Does the coaching staff simply not think he's good as everyone else does? I don't think who starts is going to be the main thing. I think we could see Ethan Downs early in downs, and I think we could see PJ on for sure passing downs. I don't think that's a horrible thing. You get to a 3rd and 8, it's PJ's time to come in. I think I personally would start Ethan Downs and PJ Adebawore. Me personally. I wouldn't start R. Mason Thomas, but that's just my personal opinion.
Richard bringing up Ron was being sarcastic.
Definitely was being sarcastic. Kennedy is going to Texas Tech.
Hey, Chavis, I think this is when you're going to see either how good of a coach he is or maybe if he needs some more time developing. Because you look at guys like R. Mason Thomas. You look at guys like PJ Adebawore. Those are guys that are going into – R. Mason Thomas is going into year 3. He should make a big stride. But I do think if you look at it, he's really improved Ethan Downs. I think Ethan Downs has gotten a lot better on the edge. So I think Chavis can coach. I do think he's a young coach. He's an outstanding, marvelous recruiter. I think he can coach. And I think we need to see the defensive ends make a jump, though. But I think he can coach really good.
Here's what I'm going to say about edge. Michael Hammond says, I bet they play 5 guys at edge. I am going to be very, very disappointed if 5 guys play at edge because there better be 6.
Yeah, Scott's talking about the size, I think, of R. Mason Thomas going against those offensive tackles.
Mark,
we'll see.
OU Sports Roundup at gmail.com. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Hey, and Bobby's right. People are wanting Chavis. I mean, and if you remember right, go back to day 1 of Brent Venables getting the job. The first guy you saw on Twitter that changed his bio to a coach at Oklahoma was Miguel Chavis. First hire for Brent Venables. He wanted him right off the bat. And I think their goal would be to develop Chavis and that eventually being a defensive coordinator somewhere. I think that's what his goal is probably too. I don't know, but I think he's a good coach, man.
Dowpolis83, to answer your question, it can be a problem. I'm not going to say it's negative. I don't think there's such thing as having too much depth. I do think there is such a thing as coaches not utilizing the depth they have because they either overplay certain guys or they rotate too many in, and it's very situational. You got to play the right guy at the right time, but having a lot of depth keeps guys fresh. If you have injuries, you're able to plug better. I don't think there's ever that's an issue where you have too much depth. I just think maybe sometimes coaches don't utilize the depth they have, or they utilize it the wrong way.
Hey, Hunter, I understand Chavis wanted to follow BV, but BV doesn't hire him as the defensive end coach if he didn't really want him. I mean,
Chief, first off, let me say this. What you say in the second part of your comment is absolutely right. First off, every game day live, post game live is going to be a madhouse on this channel. 1, we're all passionate. 2, we show comments. We will show comments. We'll have a live call-in number. We'll let you call in. We're not going to sit there and kick people off for an opinion, but we got to keep it clean. You got to not have personal insults, but that's what's going to make it fun. It's going to be a madhouse regardless. It's going to be
Hey,
a madhouse.
Hunter.
It's OU
Hunter.
football.
Yeah, Hunter. Anything on this at all today? I have not seen a word.
And there's got to be news, Jay, but it's not being released.
Maybe behind a paywall, but it's not. I have not seen anything public. That's a whole nother episode right there, Dow Place.
That could be an episode in itself. And I will say, he did say average is not really what he meant. It was overrated, but I don't think he's overrated either. Michael Fasusi, Craig from ATL. First off, again, thanks for being a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. We appreciate your support. Also, appreciate you being on the live again, as always, from Atlanta, Georgia. Michael Fasusi announces August 21st. It has been so quiet on the Fasusi front, which I think is good. I have not gone up in number. I'm still at 58%.
Yeah, Trap House, appreciate it so much. Means a lot. And yeah, that post Alamo Bowl. Oh yeah.
There's going to be a lot like that.
Here's the thing. OU fans, we're all OU fans. We're passionate. Even if they win by 50, there's going to be some disagreements on certain things. So it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. 59%.
Hunter, will you drop the email, our email in the chat here for Mark? And really anyone. There it is. Mark, anyone who wants to email us, ask us questions about the fan stop, ask us questions about the Discord, how to be involved in that. We can drop those links as well. But yeah, Jay, any other? Yeah, okay. First off, Will Fong doesn't like the Sooners' chance with Fasusi. I think the Fasusi stuff, I think his recruitment's a little different than some of the normal ones, Jay.
Hey, real quick though, Jeremy, on the Will Fong stuff, I believe the defensive lineman that just went to Texas A&M, Sanders, a lot of people thought he was going to Texas, so he ended up at A&M. So it's recruiting, and nobody knows, and they won't know till about August 20th at 11:59. Okay, whenever he's getting ready to commit.
Bobby says basically check all the banks to see who's giving to universities or whoever's getting ready to cash the biggest check, because that's where drop the biggest bag. Daniel, I absolutely love your comment, and it's one I've been asking for, and there's another guy I'm going to throw in there with him. I think Deshaun McCullough and Jaren Kennett could be elite edge rushers. Let him blitz some. Kennett is best downhill. He's not a lateral guy. You like that, Jay?
I'm going to trust Al and Venables to put him in the best position. I think if you look at I don't know how you can look at Kip Lewis and how you're going to keep Kip Lewis off the field. I don't know how.
Well, Jay, there's a lot of guys I'm going to look at and wonder
Jeremy,
the same thing.
Jeremy, the biggest complaint about Kip Lewis was, can he put on weight? He needs to put on more weight. He did. Danny
Okoye, Deshaun McCullough, Canick, they're all kind of similar guys, and some of them even remind me of Strike.
Canick?
What?
How are Danny Okoye and Canick similar type players?
They're athletic freaks, Jay.
Danny Okoye is an athletic freak.
So is Jaren Canick, Jason.
In a different mold, dude. They're not the same player.
They're the same type, Jay.
No, they're not.
Okay, argue. I don't care.
Totally different.
Size-wise, Hunter, drop their sizes right now in here. I'll stay on late for this. Sports Geek 91. Chances JJ Hester gets more snaps with Gibson out? Yeah, he's got better chances. I still don't think he's in the top 6. Personal opinion. He's not in the top 6, in my opinion.
He's going to get more chances because you're taking a player out if Gibson's out.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
But, I think he's a guy that's flashed a lot in practice, but you haven't got to see him in a game. Yeah, it came out, Eric. It came out. That really ticked me off, that comment. So,
Lori, Jay yells when he doesn't show his face. And Kanick is 6'2", 223.
No, that's not it. It's when you make absolutely ridiculous takes like that, I got to yell.
Okay, first off, and Scott, I like the hot take of Okoye being OU's best pass rusher. There is a 30-pound difference. Absolutely, absolutely, that's different. That's significant. It's not even close. I'm talking about athletic freaks who can get downhill, who are going to make plays. That's where I think Kanik is his best, and I don't think he's been in a good position to do that. I'd love to see
Yeah,
Kanik and Okoye off the edge.
and Scott, I am so glad that Danny Okoye didn't end up at Tennessee with that defensive line they already had, because I know that was a big time question: is he going to end up at Tennessee or OU? Luckily, OU got him. I think he's going to be a freak at Oklahoma in 3-4 years.
Are you ready? Are you ready for something?
What's that?
It's 10:05 on a Thursday night. Today is August 8th, I believe. I, Jeremy, am wrong in what I said, and I probably translate it in a bad way. Size-wise, those guys are not even close. I thought there was a little bit. I thought Danny Okoye was closer to 240. I'm happy that he's 253. I really think, and if you go back and watch Jared Kanik, when he did blitz last year, he almost always got to the quarterback. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, I understand he'd be good at blitzing and stuff. I get that.
And Ricky, yeah. Oklahoma breakdown, knowledge-wise, yeah, I don't think Jay or I would ever claim to know more than those guys about the game of football. That's not really my MO here. That's not what I'm not really trying to translate knowledge on here that I know the most about football. Hey, listen to me. Not at all. I'm just a passionate fan like everyone that's on here. And I love being able to do this every night with my brother, with Hunter, with others that are on here every single night. It's a very fun thing to do. That's, I think, what makes this one a little different. But, yeah, I'm knowledge-wise, you guys can call me idiots all you want. I don't really care. I'm a fan. Anyway.
That's right. Well said. Well said, Jeremy.
Yeah, I agree, Michael. He did get eaten up with misdirection, but a lot of that was from the linebacker position. I think if he's lined up at the edge, or if his job is just blitzing, and maybe that's what he's utilized for. I don't know. We'll see if he plays.
Hey, Sooner Cowboy, how was he in person? Did you got a chance to talk to him?
I'm sure he's great, dude. I like listening to Kirby Smart.
Hey, before we get off here, I got to say one thing. I don't know if you saw it today, but the ESPN song for the football season, did you see it released?
No.
Jelly Roll, Get By, I think it's called.
Interesting.
Oh, it's great.
I know one thing, Jay. I, for one, cannot wait to hear the game day guys. I cannot wait. When I hear their voices, it's going to really be that it's here. Tomorrow, guys, we're 3 weeks away. Okay, 3 weeks away. Guess what? We're going to continue to be on every night, but we also got other things coming, Surgeaholics. We got things coming like more content, breaking down position groups that'll be released during the day. Those won't be live shows. And then as we get closer, we're going to have those call-in lives where we can call up before the game, after the game, to really get raw emotion from Sooner fans, which is great. I can't believe it is 3 weeks from tomorrow night, live from Gaylord Stadium. It is going to be amazing. I see what Greg God's doing there. I'm not gonna fall for it tonight. I do appreciate everyone being on here. Thanks so much. We will see you all tomorrow. Have a fantastic Friday, Sooner Nation. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you. Please check out the Fan Stop at thefanstop.com. Sign up for that Shirt of the Month Club. Till next time.